Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Autumn Through the Woods. It's an 8 by 12 and I painted it a couple weeks ago. I really like this painting. I know I really like the drawing you're looking at right now, the underpainting. Unfortunately, something bad happened, and I think I accidentally deleted those video recordings, which is very sad. But I'll tell you what I did. I did an underpainting with I did the underpainting with a mixture of brown ochre and black. And I'm working on the textured board here, and that's kind of been primed with a bit of a raw sienna / yellow ochre, and it really worked super great. And the one thing is like normally my brown ochre black mixture will be dry like the next day or so, but it took a few more than a few days to dry. And I put this down to working on top of that layer of oil paint instead of on top of my regular masonite board, which is all fine. I do recommend though, and I've just was getting into this in a project I'm working on. It's a bit of an instructional project. Some of you are aware of it, and I'm back into it. It's going to happen now. I've got someone helping me and assisting me, and it's going to be awesome. Anyway, talking about so if I had just used say raw umber itself, it would have been dry the next day. The problem I have with raw umber for the drawing thing is that it just doesn't give me any. It just wants to stay transparent for that application. It just brings me down unless I load it up, and I don't want a super heavy layer of paint. The alternative, of course, is, excuse me, that's a dog letting himself in my office here. The alternative is burnt umber, and burnt umber is great. It's a really good color for underpainting. I could have used it, but there are times, especially quite a lot lately, I just don't want that red component as a factor. I really didn't want much of it here. Red is a factor in this painting, and this is the place where I want to point out that in the members area, normally, I'm not so sure on this video, you would see my reference image, which I've had prepared for ages. There had some serious issues with it, and I'll give you a little aside in a minute too. I want to get some solid information in, to those of you that are in a hurry to go running off to the next video. Also in the members area, which the whole front portion of the members area video, which is going to be like this, but just real time, has my full mixing session. So I've had some comments on the channel, which is nothing new. I've been doing this since 2015. Oh, talk more about your colors. Well, you want information on colors, then there's so much of it in the members area. Every video has got an extensive section where I address that, and it's not expensive. It's $6 a month, so tip on over. And that's not to say I won't give you information here. I'm going to try and do some of that too. I believe this painting has a very interesting sort of see if I can pull it up, because I'm just looking at the unfinished version here. There we go. Yeah, no, there's red in it, but it's really kind of a sort of brighter red, like a cad alizarin. I think what's really interesting though is the combination of gold, red, and gray. Not a lot of like straight up browns. The browns in this are, kind of earthy gray browns. And let's see if I can give you an overview of the just from memory. And if I'm a little incorrect, and you are a member, you can mention in the comments what I maybe forgot. But let's say the colors I used in this would have been ivory black or lamp black, same difference to me. Of course, we have that yellow ochre foundation. I also used a small amount of cadmium yellow, some cadmium orange, quite a lot of, like, say, burnt sienna. In the mixtures, alizarin crimson, cadmium red, especially in the real. You'll see when we get to the when it's a little more finished in a moment or so. A bit of cad red in those tree area there, and raw umber, of course. Probably, maybe a little bit of burn umber. If I don't have burn umber on my palette, I'm okay, you know. Um, but you can see in the bit we just painted up above, that would be, oh, a little bit of, say, alizarin crimson mixed with some raw umber and things, you know, kind of give it a dusky sort of ummy green. The other thing I wanted to make a real mention of here, if you're going after scenes like this, if you were to see the color reference, my reference image, you'd see hundreds of sky holes, and I have eliminated nearly all of them except the ones that are, say, the main one at the bottom, you know, above the road, a couple on each side, and then basically I just have some kind of boughs from the tree with some leaves coming in, and one sky hole above. This is the evolution of my process, basically, because it's taken me years to really become proficient at eliminating sky holes. But if you're a painter, and I'm assuming you might be, if not a painter, at least interested in painting, um, sky holes is a problem. They're a challenge, okay? Way less than you've been painting, way, way less. I challenge you to make it one or two sky holes through a tree, you know? Look at the masters like Ines and John Francis Murphy. You'll see they were very, very adept at that. Too many sky holes will give you the Swiss cheese effect, and that's just something that you learn not to bring over from the photo. Now, you could say, well, geez, it's in the photo, Mike. I guess it works fine there. Yeah, but paintings aren't photos. Paintings are paintings. And the sooner that you come to grips with that, the better of a painter you will be. Always, always, always. And I'll reiterate that, always. You just use that photo as something to kind of spark your imagination, you know, but you've got to let the imagination rule the day. It's very important. Yeah, now, oh yeah, we're past most people's like drop-off point. So, interestingly, if you are a member and you're catching this, me painting this in the members area, I'm saying stuff like, "Gee, this seems familiar." Well, I did paint it. I painted it back in October. Pardon me for the sniffle. A little bit of allergies, believe it or not. Uh, it's pine out here. It's not like hay fever. Anyway, I'm going, gosh, it seems familiar. And that painting actually looks okay. I mean, I've got the video. I never put it on the channel. For some reason, it was okay. It looks okay. I don't know where the actual painting is. It's probably in a box or something. I don't know exactly what I did with it, but I had kept the whatever I did. It wasn't fully resolved because I kept it in the. I have a folder full of images, as I recommend you should have. You should have a folder on your computer, just chock a block with images you're ready to paint. So when inspiration strikes, or hopefully you're not waiting for inspiration, you just have a regular practice where you sit down and paint every day. But let's just say when you sit down and you're ready to create a painting, there's something there for you to paint, you know? And that's the kind of thing to do maybe when you're flagging a little bit with energy. You know, you can get images together, and I tend to manipulate them pretty thoroughly in Photoshop. And there's quite a few videos in the members area showing how I do that. And you don't just have to use Photoshop. Frankly, you could even use some app on your phone. There's quite a lot of apps on the phones these days that do some pretty unique things with color. I think the important thing is that you do start, at least for me, a really big part of my imaginative process starts with getting that reference kind of cool looking, you know. And that's not to say that I proceed with the reference in such a way that it's going to be a work of art that stands on its own, because it almost never will or does. Mostly because I'm not interested in that as a art form. I'm interested in making paintings, but the painting process for me starts with, actually, to be honest, it starts with I took a photo that this is based on. It was from one of my travels. I'm really keen on these roads with trees. In fact, this went so well, I'm kind of in the back of my brain thinking, when am I going to do another one? Um, I love things like you see we have this real dark tree off on our right. It's got this other lighter tree off on the left. And oh, that's the other thing I wanted to mention to you. This reference image had some balance issues, had some compositional issues. But I have to say that I resolved those very well, and I put that right down to the Ines studies. That some of that is working its way into my brain slowly but surely, and this is one of the reasons I went after it. Having a good influence, having a good teacher. Now, and good old George Ines, long ago passed on. But he left me his paintings, and we're doing studies after him. In fact, you'll see a study of George Ines coming up probably another 3-4 days from now. So stay tuned for that. We've been doing one a week, and those have been really challenging. This is, in a way, doing my own work is way less challenging because I don't care if I change anything from the photo. I don't have to be exact or accurate. I'm just being an artist, a painter. And someone could ask me, then, well, why, if doing, well, getting to where the problem is or challenge is. I can't really do that with George Ines study or a study after any master. I will make changes, I will do things, but not so much with George because he's such a master. I have to look at things like accurate drawing. I have to make things accurate, and at least it has to have a pretty good resemblance to George's painting for me to be happy. That's not the case in this piece at all. I don't care if this looks like my reference photo. I'll use that reference photo again and make another painting that might look very, very different. But have some things in common. Probably have this color scheme in common. In fact, I have another painting that looks pretty similar, but not as good. Not as good. I didn't thoroughly resolve those compositional issues, and those compositional issues is one of the reasons why I kept passing that photo over in my reference folder. I kept passing on it because I'd see, oh, that's not balanced, and then one day I look at it and say, I know what to do. And so what I did is like, okay, so we're at the area where most people who don't care that much have gone. We have a bit of an arc with that light area. We have a good balance, say, between the light tree and the larger tree, the largest tree. That's a bit of a focal point, really, that's right next to the road on our right. And then it's balanced with that long vertical black tree, and that on the other side is balanced by the black tree that's behind the light tree that's in an arc. Now, in my photo, there's a lot more complexity. So this sort of scene requires immense amounts of simplification, and to be honest, the best way to get to that point is just by doing a lot of paintings. But I've given you some good tips, like find a design pattern that's stimulated by your reference. It may not be fully present in the reference because the reference is going to be a bit random. It's just a picture of nature, right? Sometimes you'll find that in a photo composition in nature that's already there. It's good to go. But more often than not, you're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have to modify things. And that's what I did here, and I think it's a really good result. Now, I'll be having this in my store. $2.99 is what I'm selling these for. Thank you to those of you that have purchased paintings recently. It's a real blessing. It's a real help to me in my artistic journey. A lot of my gallery business has been really just been hit very hard since we live out here in New Zealand, which is the back end of the planet, and the tourism, was really the driving force behind a lot of those sales, and that's dead in the water right now. Maybe it'll come back, maybe not. Either way, I'm going to keep painting. We all know the world situation's looking a bit, dire, to say the least, but you know what? Don't you worry about it either. Just make another painting. And then you've got something positive that you can focus on, which is like your progression and evolution as an artist. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I really, really appreciate it. Check out the members area. Check out my site. There's a store there. And pretty soon some other very interesting projects will be coming your way that I think you will really, really enjoy. So stick with me. Appreciate you being here. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble, and God bless you and your family.